Hello. Hey. Hey. It is Wednesday. It's another edition of Winning Wednesdays. How is everyone? I think I learned my lesson from last time. I have to look down here because if I look up here, I don't know that you can really see. It doesn't really come out right. I don't know. But anyway, how's everybody doing today on this Winning Wednesday? Yeah, surprise, surprise. Last week I had a lot of hair. This week I don't. But it's all good. It's only hair. It'll grow back. Hope everybody is well. Hope you had a great day on this fabulous Winning Wednesday. So am I and why am I here? I am Veronica Matthews, your victorious living life coach. And I am here today on a Winning Wednesday to provide motivation, encouragement, and support. And my job as a coach, as a trainer, as a speaker, as a workshop leader, as a little bit of everything. I kind of have multiple hats, and I love it. I love it all. But one thing I wanted to do was to be able to offer some opportunity for people to receive some support in maybe areas that they don't typically do. Because I know that if I've gone through something, my job is to help another person through. And so that's why I share, and that's why I am try to be as transparent as possible with what I share. So today's topic, hello to people. I can't see who you are, so if you care to say who you are, I would be greatly appreciated. Just send me a hi or a smiley face or something. But today's topic is offended much. And last week's topic was about rejection. And I've done topics before where I consider them kissing cousins. And I think being offended is a kissing cousin to rejection in many ways. And I know that I have spent a lot of my life, former life, being a people pleaser, kind of in the zone of being easily offended. And I chalked it up to being very sensitive and really being empathetic and just just having such a big heart and wearing my heart on my sleeve. And as I've grown, I have learned that sometimes I just wanted to be the victim. Yep. Uh-huh. And so I'm aware of that now. I'm aware of old habits, old patterns, and the way that things may not. I chose to respond, and the way that I chose to operate, and how I made things mean something that they really didn't, and that I didn't intend, or that really wasn't appropriate. And so I just wanted to cover a couple of definitions and then hit some high points, and I'm going to be out today. So to offend, oh, wow, okay. So we got some comments coming through. Hey, Wes. All right. Hey, Carlita. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, Shirley. So hi, I'm so thankful that you joined us. And but just to go back, so to offend is to cause to feel upset, annoyed, or resentful. Then to be offended is feeling resentful or annoyed, typically as a result of a perceived insult. So oftentimes we can get insulted by comments and what people do, and particularly in the age of the social media, right, where people are very inclined to have all this boldness and heart and a lot of mouth through their keyboard as they're responding to something, and then they fly off the handle because they read it wrong, or because they had a bad day, or because whatever. And so it happens. And I believe that there's a difference between a true offense and being in a state of being easily offended. And I admit that I was in that category of being easily offended. Everything, I was, a lot of things offended me, and it was just like whether it was righteous indignation or whether it was just me being a wuss. Honestly, I mean, I'm gonna call it like I see it, or like I now see how I used to be. And so I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was a wuss. I'm the youngest of six. I was coddled in some cases and grew up a little privileged and spoiled. But once I started getting out in the world and, people started hitting me this way and hitting me that way. And I just like, dang, what is up with me? And so now I've come to realize that I enjoyed being in the victim state. Yeah. And so now that I know differently, I know that being offended is a choice. And just like we wake up and choose what shoes to wear, what outfits to wear, we choose sometimes to be offended at what goes on and what people say and what people do. And so understanding that it's a choice, sometimes you want to be victimized and you want to feel in the victim state, but there is another way to be. There's a way to take responsibility for your own feelings and understand that people are people and not everything is going to come through your filter of life and experiences like a person intends for it to. And so if we were to take offense to each and everything a person says, we also have to understand that sometimes the karma hits, right? And so we may sometimes get offended by the very same thing that we have then done to someone else, or have we, so it comes back to us as a boomerang. And so that sometimes that is where we are. And then another thing that I know about being easily offended is that we may sometimes have some unresolved hurt and some unforgiveness that exists that we need to just heal from and acknowledge and understand that the person that hurt us when we were 20 is, and they said a certain thing, just because someone says this in our 40s and 50s doesn't mean that they have ill intentions. It just means that we need to go back to what we experienced in our 20s and heal from it, get some support around dealing with that issue so that we're not wearing it on our shoulders and on our sleeve, and that people can see us coming and be like, oh Lord, that girl again and get easily offended by stuff. Can't say nothing to her. And it happens a lot in the church, right? Because people can say things to us and, because of our personal filters, we receive it not in the way that the person intended. Or because maybe we're feeling a little guilty, we receive it in a way and we become offended. And sometimes in the workplace too, somebody may offer us feedback or they may have some comments about our work, and then we take offense to it as opposed to understanding that their opinion is their opinion. So here are my four ideas for support around how to not be offended or easily offended by things. The first thing is to understand that everybody is fighting a battle that we may not understand. And so their filter of how they perceive things and how they speak things is not always going to match with our filter, because we too are processing as we receive it, and we have our own filters for how we are taking things in. So understand that people are people. Let people be people, and let them and show them love and compassion, as opposed to jumping on the side of, well, what do they mean by that? let them be people, let them have their opinion, and let them have their filter through which they say things, but also understand that your filter through which you receive things is it might need a little tweaking as well, because everything is not intended to hurt our feelings, everything is not intended to be offensive, and sometimes we receive it in a way that is not intended. So exercise love and compassion first before jumping on the offense or taking jumping to the defense or taking offense to something. The second thing is don't take it personally. It's not all about you, boo. And that's another thing I've learned over the years is that even though I think I'm the center of the universe, it's not all about me. It is usually never about me. It's always about somebody else. And so if we take ourselves out of the equation and put others first and put not to the detriment of us, but just to consider another person, is that it's not all about us, you know. So maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they lost their job, maybe they got some bad news, maybe they got an unexpected bill. Have some love and compassion and remember that it's not all about us. And so if someone is a little harsh, if someone is a little short, if someone says something that might not necessarily hit us the right way, that it's not about us. Take a step back and put ourselves in their shoes for just a quick second, and we might have a different perspective. The third thing is to trust your own values. So I had to learn to trust myself. That was a couple of winning Wednesdays ago. I had to learn to trust myself. And in trusting myself, I had to learn not to rely on the opinions of others, not to give the opinions of others too much value. Now, there is a distinct difference between, I hope I can turn my volume off. I think you can still hear me. But there's a distinct difference between honoring, kind of listening to feedback and taking in what a person says, as opposed to valuing their opinion and their thought patterns above our own, because we have our own values, we have our own expectations, we have our own way of being, and so don't put another person's opinion higher than yours. And then when you do that, that helps you not take things personally, and it also helps you to put yourself in a compassionate position. And then lastly, sometimes there are very caustic and toxic people in the world. And so understand, respect, and protect and enforce your boundaries. So we've given people the benefit of the doubt. We have understood that it's not all about us, and we value our own values. We respect and honor our values higher than the opinions of others. And so even with all of that, there are some people in the world that get their rocks off by being mean, by being nasty, by being incorrigible, and just god awful human beings, I'm sorry to say. And when we encounter those people and have those people in our lives, we need to protect our boundaries. So our values, our opinions, and our value and our love of ourselves has to come first. And when we are in a situation where we're being abused or taken advantage of, then we can exercise our boundaries and remove ourselves from their lives. Because if our presence in their lives doesn't make a difference, our absence will. So that's what I have to say about being offended. And so I think my network might be running a little slow, and I can't. Oh, hey. Hey, Miss Brenda. Hi. I don't know if you're still here. Alfred, Rochelle, Brenda, Sharon, Charlene, Wink. Thanks for popping in. Hope that you have, if you have any comments or questions about offense, and you have your own tips and tricks of how to either not be offended, or I used to hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't care about what nobody thinks," and what another person thinks. And you know, part of me would understand that, and then part of me would respect it, and then the other part of me would be like, well, dang, I do sometimes, and I've learned to not put too much stock in people's opinions because they can't pay my bills, and they're not running my household. So that's when it comes to, just kind of putting myself first and valuing myself. But sometimes we do have, the other people, when they mean something to us. Oh,